Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Y&R Trends. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Holden's Claire is expecting. Is baby drama caused by LA passion? Claire Newman might get pregnant as a result of Holden Novak. Will Holden and Claire's love for Los Angeles lead to a return of baby drama in Genoa City? Following her seductive hotel encounter with Holden in the October 31st episode, Claire may have a bun in the oven. In soap operas where women are frequently extremely fertile for the sake of unplanned pregnancy plots, conception only takes one time. It's possible that Claire and Holden didn't use protection. Even if they did, it wouldn't be 100% successful and wouldn't totally eliminate the possibility of a soapy baby twist. Back in September, Claire might have hinted to the prospect of an unplanned pregnancy. Y&R viewers might recall Claire getting upset by Kyle Abbott's marriage proposal and wondering if he would then suggest having a kid. Despite Kyle's joking about "not yet," the baby's general reference sounded like a potential clue. If Claire gets pregnant by Holden instead of him, Kyle might be disappointed. To get Claire away from Holden and mend his own relationship with her, Kyle has been working very hard. However, Kyle's insistence ultimately backfired, forcing Claire to share a bed with Holden. Victoria Newman, played by Amelia Heinle, has also been concerned about Claire acting rashly and perhaps coming to regret it. Claire would regret giving in to Holden's desire if she gets pregnant and becomes inextricably attached to him. Claire's delight of their time together and her attraction to Holden are two separate things. It's one thing to imagine this lasting relationship, and quite another to think Holden will make a wonderful father. When Claire finds out what horrible secrets Holden and Audra Charles are hiding, she could realize that Kyle was right to be worried and try to protect her. Unfortunately, it might be too late if Claire is already expecting Holden's child when his questionable news is revealed. Keep an eye out because the Young and the Restless previews suggest that Claire's life might drastically change. Claire chose Holden. When Claire went out on the town with Holden in Los Angeles, she lost herself in the thrill. Despite Sienna's warning, Claire brushed off concerns about Kyle and Holden. When the sparks evolved into a full-fledged fire, Claire and Holden went back to her hotel and shared a bed. Compared to Kyle's costume party, Claire's trick-or-treat was much more sensual. It's possible that Holden Novak and Claire Newman's brief excursion to Los Angeles ignited more than just romance. It might have set off a ticking time bomb that could soon blow up Genoa City. The rumors are getting louder. Is Claire carrying Holden's child? One of the Young and the Restless most startling and poignant plots in recent memory might swiftly develop from what started off as a seductive, impetuous night of desire. Holden and Claire's relationship was already fraught with peril, secrecy, and temptation, but now there's a very real chance that their sultry LA meeting may result in unanticipated baby drama that upends every family in the community. They were two people drawn together by circumstances, attraction, and the mayhem around them, and their night together on October 31st was meant to be nothing more than an escape. However, desire always has a cost in the world of Genoa City. Claire may be facing an unexpected future after attempting to restore her life following years of mental turmoil and betrayal. And if a kid comes into the picture, Holden, with his sinister charm and shadowy past, might be permanently bound to the Newmans. One night in a hotel room, one rash choice could change their fates. It's important to keep in mind that a single encounter is sufficient in soap operas. The authors frequently construct whole storylines around one-night-only scenarios that have long-term repercussions. Pregnancies that start out as mysteries, love triangles complicated by paternity testing, and families split apart by one terrible night are all familiar to viewers. Claire has a very real chance of getting pregnant, and if she does, there could be serious consequences. Fans are aware that using protection rarely prevents a dramatic pregnancy twist, even if Holden and Claire did. It's the most popular plot element in the genre for holding viewers' attention. Drama, after all, feeds on disorder, and what could be more emotionally upsetting than Claire learning she is expecting Holden's child? The show has already hinted to this possibility in subtle ways. Claire had been having trouble with the idea of love, family, and control, as seen by her ferocious response to Kyle Abbott's casual discussion about marriage and children back in September. Her annoyance at Kyle's quip about "not yet" having a family suggested that she isn't as optimistic about her future as she seems. Irony has now completed a full circle. Kyle's cautions about Claire's impetuous behavior will come back to bother her if she finds out she is pregnant by Holden. Kyle has been making a valiant effort to win her back, to demonstrate to her that he can provide her with security and love without the instability that comes with someone like Holden. However, Kyle's heart may be permanently broken by Claire's choice to flee to Holden and lose herself in that passionate moment. Kyle won't be the only one impacted. One of the most influential people in Genoa City, and Claire's mother, Victoria Newman, has been privately concerned about her daughter's inconsistent decisions. Victoria has seen her fair share of grief, pregnancies, and betrayals, so she is well aware of the perilous nature of hasty relationships. She will be devastated to see her daughter fall into the same trap. If Claire is found to be pregnant, Victoria will have to decide whether to support her daughter's choice or intervene to shield her from a man like Holden, whose intentions might not be as good as they appear. Holden, on the other hand, might be concealing a lot more than he is revealing. There is no denying his chemistry with Claire, but there are concerns about his relationship with Audra Charles. It can't be a coincidence that Audra's name keeps coming up every time Holden's secrets are brought up. Audra has a history of dishonesty, manipulation, and leveraging relationships. Claire may be unknowingly entering a trap if she and Holden have a secret motive. Additionally, she will be eternally ensnared in that web if she is pregnant. When Claire learns the truth, that Holden's love for her was a part of a bigger plan, or that he has been collaborating with Audra behind the scenes to influence the Newmans, imagine the destruction. If she is carrying his child, the emotional toll would be particularly severe. It would be beautiful and sad to watch Claire regret giving in to her impulses only after learning of Holden's deceit, as viewers are aware that Y&R feeds on irony. Despite her impetuous nature, Claire possesses a strong core. She has often shown herself to be resilient, and this plot could be a crucial moment in her development. She could have to face her own ideals if she becomes pregnant, including what type of life she wants to lead, what kind of person she wants to be, and whether she is prepared to fight for her independence even if she is married to a guy who has deceived her. Holden would also be put to the test. Would he welcome fatherhood, or would he withdraw, afraid to take accountability for his deeds? His response will reveal all about his true nature. According to some fans, Holden might surprise everyone by taking the initiative and demonstrating true love and devotion for Claire and their prospective child. Others anticipate the opposite, that he will take advantage of the circumstance to increase his authority by controlling Claire's feelings. In any case, high-stakes drama is inevitable. Naturally, Kyle would respond violently. The man has experienced sorrow after heartbreak, so losing Claire to Holden and perhaps finding out that she is expecting his rival's child would be too much for him to handle. The darker, more erratic part of Kyle's personality that fans have already glimpsed could spiral out of control. Even worse, he might work with Audra to exact revenge on Holden in ways that would have dire repercussions. An additional level of meaning is added by the Los Angeles setting. Claire was swept away by the thrill and peril of something new, and she allowed herself to be vulnerable away from the comfortable familiarity of Genoa City. She might now return home in the most surprising way from her one night of freedom. The City of Angels may have given her a brief taste of pleasure, but it may also have sealed her doom. There will be emotional repercussions for several families if Claire starts exhibiting pregnancy symptoms. Victoria is going to confront Holden and demand an explanation. Holden will be accused by Kyle of exploiting Claire. In an attempt to further harm Claire, Audra will probably interfere and make subtle allusions to her relationship with Holden. And the father himself, Victor Newman, might choose to step in and defend his granddaughter by whatever means necessary. Another Newman power maneuver might easily use a baby associated with Holden Novak as a pawn. Another concern is how Claire might respond to the news. She has already embarked on a path of self-discovery, re-establishing contact with her original family, and attempting to find her place in a society that continuously condemns her for her past. Those difficulties would be tenfold increased with a pregnancy. Would she consider it a curse or an opportunity to make a fresh start? Would she consider leaving Holden to raise the child on her own terms, or would she decide to retain the baby? There are countless options, and every decision has a great deal of emotional weight. Holden's reputation may also change depending on how he handles the circumstance. He's fascinating, enigmatic, and dangerously attractive right now, but his behavior will define him if Claire gets pregnant. Will he truly fall in love with Claire and the prospect of starting a family, or will he expose his true nature as a manipulator? It's plausible that Holden will fall into that gray area, loving Claire but making awful choices that nonetheless harm her, because the show's creators enjoy blurring moral boundaries. Another important aspect of all this is the timing. A pregnancy twist may entwine the arcs of all the main characters into a single explosive tale, just as other significant stories involving Kyle, Victoria, and Audra intensify. A kid created in Los Angeles has the potential to be the most potent secret in Genoa City, which lives on secrets. Things might quickly become ugly if Holden tries to conceal the pregnancy or coerce Claire into keeping it a secret. Fans are already speculating as to how the revelation might take place. Will Claire initially confide in Sienna, the friend who forewarned her about Holden? Or will Kyle unintentionally learn the truth, leading to another of Y&R's famous thrilling confrontations? Before the truth is revealed, there is even conjecture that Claire may first believe Kyle to be the father, resulting in a traditional soap opera paternity twist. The dichotomy between truth and dream forms the emotional center of this plot. Claire's life in Los Angeles was a glamorous, passionate diversion from her troubles. However, reality strikes hard when she gets back to Genoa City. Public rumors, family criticism, and pregnancy tests are all very different from that opulent hotel suite. We will discover Claire's true self and the kind of future she will strive for in that harsh reality. It will be interesting to observe Victoria's response as well. She is a true Newman, accustomed to dominance and power, but she is weak when it comes to her daughter. Depending on how she responds to it, this circumstance could either soften or harden her. She can become enraged with Holden and threaten to ruin him for abusing Claire. Alternatively, she could attempt to gently mentor Claire, assisting her in navigating the same emotional storms that Victoria has experienced. In the end, this possible pregnancy plot could change the arcs of several characters. Claire would go from being a victim of her circumstances to a woman compelled to make mature decisions that would have long-term effects. Kyle would either lose himself in resentment or overcome it, demonstrating his maturity, while Holden would have to face the mess he's created. In the meantime, the Newman family would be rocked once more, demonstrating that scandal always threatens their private lives regardless of their level of power. We can't help but be fascinated as viewers. The emotional build-up, symbolic allusions, and the intense Halloween night in Los Angeles are all clues. Dramatic irony is a key component of soap operas, and this arrangement is perfect for a memorable twist. The next wave of drama may be driven solely by the fear of pregnancy, causing all the characters to make decisions that put their hearts and allegiances to the test, regardless of whether the baby is ultimately discovered to exist or not. For the time being, the question remains: was everything changed by that night in Los Angeles? Did Claire Newman and Holden Novak unknowingly build a life together? If this is the case, Genoa City is about to see an unprecedented storm that will reverberate for months to come. The storm is the result of passion, secrets, and one careless choice. There is no doubt that if Claire is pregnant, the consequences will completely alter her relationship with Holden, shatter Kyle's tenuous optimism, and rock the Newman family as a whole. The city that never sleeps on drama is about to awaken to a fresh controversy in classic Young and the Restless fashion, and it all began with a passionate night in Los Angeles. The entire basis of Claire Newman's new existence might collapse, or change into something quite different, if the rumors are accurate and she becomes pregnant following her passionate night with Holden Novak in Los Angeles. The very notion of Claire bearing Holden's child sets off a chain reaction that would rock Genoa City. These days, it's not only about love or betrayal. It's also about morals, legacy, and the type of woman Claire wants to be in the future. This plot might, in many respects, be the pivotal moment in Claire's redemption journey. She has been working for months to demonstrate that she is no longer the weak, easily swayed young woman who succumbed to Jordan's charms. She was welcomed and given the stability she had always desired by Victoria and the Newman family. However, Holden arrived at precisely the wrong, or even the most disastrous time. He rekindled Claire's desire for risk, passion, and the kind of thrill that her meticulously restored existence was unable to offer. It was all about freedom that night in Los Angeles. However, independence frequently comes with a price, and Claire might soon learn that she gave up short-term enjoyment for long-term accountability. Holden would also have to confront the intensity of his bond with Claire, if he were to get pregnant. Chemistry, secrecy, and a shared need to get away from their suffering were the foundations of their relationship, rather than trust. Holden gave the impression that he understood her, didn't condemn her past, and didn't demand perfection. Can that kind of bond, however, endure the harsh reality of pregnancy? Holden doesn't seem like a man who does well under pressure, and parenthood isn't glamorous. He might be just as afraid of being a father as Claire is. Fans have started to see Holden's concealed fragility, though. Beneath the self-assurance and attractiveness, there is a man with personal issues that may be related to Audra Charles and any covert plans the two have been involved in. When Holden learns that Claire is carrying his child, it may serve as the emotional compass that ultimately forces him to abandon his deceitful way of life. The infant might be the catalyst for Holden's positive transformation, turning him from a nomadic opportunist into a person capable of genuine love and selflessness. However, nothing is ever that easy in The Young and the Restless. Holden will face significant opposition, particularly from the Newmans, if he truly wants to act morally. As soon as they learn that Claire is expecting Holden's child, Victoria, Nick, and even Victor will band together. Holden is seen by them as a threat and an outsider. Victoria might think he's using her daughter as leverage, or as a way to become a part of the Newman family. A Newman war against him, complete with extortion, manipulation, and legal threats, may be sparked by that fear alone. And then there's Kyle Abbott, who is probably going to be one of this drama's most unstable characters. Claire has already been driven away by Kyle's envy, and once he learns of the pregnancy, his incapacity to get past their failed relationship could turn into an obsession. Rejection from Summer, Audra, and now Claire has completely upended his sense of self. Kyle might not be able to bear the embarrassment if Holden and Claire wind up having a child. Fans can picture him approaching Holden in the most dramatic manner imaginable, with accusations flying through the air and fists flying. The irony in this situation is that Kyle had valid concerns. From the start, he had a feeling that Holden was terrible trouble, that something sinister was hiding behind his charm. It might be too late for Claire to avoid the repercussions if Kyle's suspicions regarding Holden's covert relationships to Audra or his ulterior intentions come to pass. She can feel caught between two men, one who delights her but undermines her stability, and another who loves her but suffocates her. Claire's possible pregnancy will put her to the ultimate emotional test. Although viewers have already witnessed her deal with pain and deception, this is unique. Pregnancy reveals unadulterated vulnerability. Given how damaged her own childhood was, the thought of having a kid will make Claire face all of her scars. She can begin to doubt her own capacity for protection, nurturing, and love. She could be overcome by the anxiety of making the same mistakes that characterized her past. Ironically, though, this might also be her best opportunity for atonement. The prospect of Claire, who was once thought to be a lost soul, becoming a mother has a poetic quality. She may be able to recover and give someone else the unconditional love she was never given if she accepts the pregnancy. Additionally, Victoria would find reflections of her younger self in her daughter, which would make her softer and more sympathetic. Victoria understands what it's like to fall in love with the wrong man and become pregnant under difficult circumstances. Love and control have always been at odds in her relationship with Victor and, subsequently, with the fathers of her children. She would now have to lead Claire through the same tempest while maintaining her composure. However, none of this would sit well with Victor Newman. He has a reputation for being fiercely protective of his family, and if he believes Holden has put Claire's future in danger, he will retaliate with his usual brutality. Fans can almost see the scene. Victor calling Holden to his office and telling him that he will regret hurting Claire or his prospective great-grandchild in a cold, exact voice. Naturally, Holden is not the kind to give up easy. Their unavoidable conflict may lead to a power battle that transcends interpersonal bounds and into the corporate sector, where Victor is skilled at subduing his rivals. Kyle squinted his eyes. "Kane." "That's right," Jack remarked somberly. "And Phyllis. She will regret getting involved with this." Kane was performing his own damage control across town. When Lily first saw him at Society, her face was taut with annoyance. "Kane, this is unbelievable. You claim to have locked down that system." "I did," he was adamant. "However, someone violated it. Victor Newman is now turning it into a weapon. Lily, I promise to make this right. Even if it's Phyllis, I'll track down whoever assisted him. Lily crossed her arms. Kane exercised caution. You're experimenting with flames. He gave a sinister grin. Well, perhaps it's time to burn them all. Phyllis unexpectedly received an encrypted message back at the Grand Phoenix. We are aware of what you sold. Her heartbeat quickened. You can't hide forever. It was not Victor or Kane who sent that message. There was another person observing. Someone risky. In the meantime, Sharon was sitting next to Noah's bed in the hospital, whispering to her unconscious son, "Baby, come back to me." Nick stood in the corner, his eyes red from sleep deprivation, his jaw clenched. Please. Detective Halpern entered through the creaking door. Mr. and Mrs. Newman, we discovered fresh security footage from the accident night, he continued, wiping his mouth. It may alter everything. Sharon stood up tall. What sort of video? Halpern paused. It depicts someone tampering with Noah's vehicle prior to the collision. Nick clenched his hands. Who? Halpern answered. We're still analyzing it, but the figure looks familiar. Sharon's phone buzzed before they could press him any harder. He's not the only one who ought to have perished that evening. A text message from an unidentified number appeared on the screen. Sharon felt her blood chill. Half expecting to see Matt Clark hiding in the shadows once more, she glanced around the room. Determined to confront her concerns, Sharon went back to the shadow room later that night. The air was heavy with silence and the pub was oddly deserted. Matt! She yelled out in no response. Then though she heard it, a terrifying close whisper. With her heart racing, she turned back and said, You can't bury the past, Sharon. But nobody was there. Or was it? Victor's business doomsday strategy was already growing at the same time. He summoned Victoria to his office and explained his next course of action, which was to fully acquire Jabot through middlemen. Jack won't have a business to run when I'm done, Victor remarked.